Hello everyone, what's up? Prince15 here with another video review. Today I'm taking a look at Transformers War for Cybertron Siege Deluxe Class Barricade. But first, before we take a look at the toy itself, let's take a look at the box. So here you have your typical Siege packaging. It says Transformers Siege War for Cybertron Trilogy right there for ages 8 and up. Of course, that's just a suggestion. I have to put that on there. This is manufactured by Hasbro. He is Barricade War for Cybertron Siege number 41. He is, of course, a Decepticon. This is manufactured by Hasbro. It says Transformers along the side. This is from the Generations line, also co-manufactured with Takara Tomy. On the side here, you've got Barricade looking very mean and stern and G1-y, and I love it. Deluxe class in several different languages. On the side over here, you get your cool poster artwork. Honestly, I don't know why they don't. You know, when you go to Walmart and they've got like it's either in the electronics or it's in the book section, they've always got the little area where they've got the different posters you can buy. I don't know why they don't just sell a poster of this. I would love to have a poster of just this to hang up in my room. So he is, of course, an authentic Transformer. And then on the back, here's Barricade and all the things he does. He transforms in 14 steps. You can give him little Minicon guys, the little Battle Masters to do other stuff, and that's pretty much it for the packaging. So here we have Barricade for really sort of kind of the first time ever, and I say sort of kind of for a reason that I'll explain in a moment. Really sort of kind of for the first time ever, we have Barricade in a G1 design, which is really awesome. We sort of kind of got a Barricade G1 design, inspired design in the original War for Cybertron video game from 2010, but honestly, while his name was Barricade, he didn't have the typical trappings of what we've come to know Barricade as for the character. You know, he's a police car of some sort and he's evil. For that Barricade, you really could have honestly have renamed him, you know, like Dead End or something, or some other generic. You could have just called him a Stunticon. Just use generic term Stunticon for him, and it really wouldn't have mattered, and he was really only ever in the first level of that game anyway. So yes, that technically counts, I guess, as a G1 inspired design, but that's also technically part of the aligned continuity, which is all manner of confusing, because continuity in terms of the aligned continuity is a very loose term, but this is really the first official version we've got of Barricade in some sort of G1 design, and I really like it. So here he is in his Cybertronian police car mode. I mean, really, you just look at this without knowing who this is, and you see the white door with the alien text on there, and the thing. I think any just casual Transformers fan, they're going to go, oh, that's the bad robot cop from the first Transformers movie, and you'd be correct because this is Barricade. So I love how they've transferred his look here. Now he is a slight remold, just recolor of Prowl from the same line. I also want to get Prowl. He's on my list. I just haven't been able to find him in a while because it's kind of been I'll pick him up eventually. And then it's like, ooh, Barricade. I'm glad they're making a Barricade. I'm going to pick him up, and then I'll pick up Prowl. And now I've not been able to find Prowl because it's been a while, so I may just have to order him for Christmas or something. Anyway, so yeah, he is just the Prowl mold, but I've always liked the look of the Prowl mold. I thought it looked, for this line, I thought it looked cool. And yeah, I really like this vehicle mode. It has the trappings and the designs of you know, kind of that look for Barricade with it being a police car, and you can identify it as such. But at the same time, it's also a very alien vehicle. This doesn't look like something that you would, well, obviously, it doesn't look like something you'd see on the streets of Chicago or someplace patrolling. It doesn't even look like an Earth vehicle, minus the fact that it's got 4 wheels. It's very sleek. It doesn't really look like there's a place for anyone to sit. It really just does look like this is what an alien that can turn into a vehicle would turn into for faster transportation for themselves. So I really like this. I really like this look. I think Barricade looks better, uses this mold better than Prowl does, just from what I've seen. But of course, I'll pick him up eventually. So yeah, so he's got a Decepticon symbol right there, which makes sense since he is a Decepticon. You can, of course, remove his little siren lights there. My one complaint with the vehicle mode is that this does really, when you look at it from the top, it really does blend in to the top, which is, I think, unfortunate. It could have been cool if this had stayed the blue and red, but oh well. That's a minor nitpick. It's not really a big deal. So you can plug his weapons in here, and then so he can be driving down the road, shooting at Autobots and all sorts of stuff. And then, of course, like any toy from the Siege line, you can, of course, attach the battle effects. There we go. So yeah, there he is, driving down the road, shooting at Autobots. That's really cool. Actually, do go in a little bit more. There we go. So yeah, that's really cool. I love that. I mean, this kind of gives me the beginning of the vibes from the beginning of Bumblebee, where Bumblebee's driving along and he pops little guns out of his hood and he starts shooting. That really reminds me of that. So that's really cool. I love that. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for Barricade's vehicle mode. Let's go ahead and get into some size comparisons. So there's Barricade. Now we'll bring out a line mate. Here he is with Ironhide. Ironhide being a much larger vehicle because he's like some sort of big van, and Barricade is a police cruiser. So there's how they stack up. And to compare him to another version of himself, here is Barricade from the first Transformers movie. Obviously, much bigger vehicle because, well, the toys, 12 years ago were much larger. So yeah, that's pretty much it for size comparison. And now we shall get down to transformation. So, like all figures from the Siege line, the transformation is very intuitive and simple to do, which I love. I love the Studio Series for how they're able to take those Michael Bay movie designs and transfer them into a toy that's very accurate to what we see on screen. But and while the transformations at times are simpler than they have been in the past, from past lines like Revenge of the Fallen, great looking toys, but they also had some very complex transformations. The Studio Series line still does have a couple little things where it's like, oh, the thing you need to move there is very small, so that can make that difficult. Barricade here, he's not such a case because he is very G1 inspired, so we don't have that problem. So first we want to remove that. Put a little wider than I was expecting. And then we want to just open up the doors like so, and then that'll give us access to bring down the arms. So you got the arms down here, and then everything else will just sort of kind of start to loosen itself up. So here we have this whole assembly. We can move out the legs like such and turn them around to where they'll be in position where we want them. Move the arms out like that, and then we'll flip down this chest piece. And now we'll bring this back. Then this piece here, which is kind of part of the hood, as you can see there, that just pops down like that. And then we'll bring that down, and then that'll just feed into there. And then the whole thing will just come over Barricade's head. I'll tap it in place, spin his head around like so. Now we can get the arms angled here. These shoulder pads can move pretty much into several different positions. I like to keep them angled like that because that makes Barricade look just a little meaner, I think. And then I really like the feet here. So then here's your little heels right here. We'll just separate the feet. Really like to tab into each other. There we go. We'll just separate the feet, and then just bring that down. Same thing over here. Just it's not really so much bring it down as it is bring it forward. And then angle the doors however we wish. You can have them straight back. I like to have them pointed just a little bit. And then we can replace this. This can also tab onto his arm. I just prefer to keep it there. You could also have it like that. Maybe make things a little more streamlined. However you wish to do that. And then we'll just place him on the ground, kind of position his feet to where he's standing. And there we have Barricade in robot mode. So I really like the look of Barricade. As I've said previous, he is just the Prowl mold with a new head, which we'll take a look at now. But I think he really uses the mold very well, and I think like in terms of vehicle mode, I think he sort of also kind of uses it better than Prowl, which is funny. I really like the head mold, because that was another thing with the Barricade from the original War for Cybertron game, is that it was just kind of very generic. Where this face, this head sculpt and everything seems just a lot more personalized and specialized for Barricade. So it's similar to Prowl, but if Prowl was evil, which has kind of always been the idea behind Barricade, you know, what if we took, you know, what if a police car is evil instead of a police car being the good bot? So yeah, I really like the look of his head sculpt. So the feet are something else I like as well, just the design of and how they work into the transformation as well. It really reminds me of Transformers animated Bumblebee and his transformation and how those feet worked. It's not really much the same, but it's similar enough to where it kind of gives me vibes of that, and I do like that. And then there's like most of the Siege toys, there is a hinge in there to where you can move the foot however you know, off to the side like that if you want, to help with posing your figure, which is cool. So yeah, he's really cool. I really like him. So of course you can give him his weapons here. So here he is with his double blasters. You can remove them from his hand, but you can take them and put them back up here, like in vehicle mode. I prefer to have him holding them, of course. So as we can see, he still does the effects parts, so he can blast Autobots. And then we can also give him the Battle Masters. So let's just remove that from his hand, put that in there, and then there we go. He's got a Battle Master. This Battle Master is also the one that's on the back of the box, so it's it's not made since Barricade came out after this figure. You know, this Battle Master. He's not made for him, but I mean, they're kind of made for each other. It's a very similar paint scheme. The purple on the Battle Master is just barely the wrong shade, but I mean everything else is it looks like they're made for each other. So that looks really good. Just move him back off to the side. Give him his weapons back, and then we have a bad cop here ready to patrol. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for his robot mode. Let's get back into the size comparisons. Here he is with Ironhide. Ironhide being very tall compared to him. Ironhide is a nice, big, beefy figure. I really like that about Ironhide. He's really cool in that way. He's a nice, beefy deluxe. It's cool to have that. So then we'll also bring in Barricade's Lord and Master Megatron. So obviously he's much taller because that's a Voyager to a deluxe size. So they look nice together. Just move them off to the side, and then for a further comparison between the different iterations, here he is with the Last Night Deluxe Barricade. So roughly the same height. I think Siege Barricade is just slightly taller. The wheels on this, the wheels on the Barricade go round and round, round and round. The wheels on this Barricade give him just a little bit more height, but you know, going by the head, he's just a little bit taller. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for the size comparisons. So what do I think of this figure? I really like this figure. This Siege line this year, it's been something that because you know, I'm more of a collector of the movie toys, just because you know the movies are what got me into Transformers in the first place, and I've kind of fallen in love with most aspects of the franchise since then. So, I've really kind of been holding off on buying a lot of the Siege line, even though I thought a lot of it looked cool. It's like, ooh, that figure looks really good. That's a really cool Cybertronian iteration of this classic G1 design. I kind of want to pick that up. But you know, it's just kind of a want, and I've already got all the Studio Series stuff I want to pick up. I should probably not get that. Should probably restrain myself, but so I've been doing that a lot with the Siege line. But there's certain figures I just can't not pick up. Ironhide was one of those. Hound was one of those. Megatron was one of those. Now we've come to Barricade. I'm going to get Prowl now. So, I mean, they're really, this line is just really super good, and it's kind of been wearing me down over the course of the year since it's been released with the new waves that have been coming out and everything. And Barricade is definitely no exception to that. I really like this toy. The transformation is fun and intuitive and simplistic, which makes getting him from robot to vehicle and back really fun, and it's not a challenge. So I think kids would really like this. And it's a G1 version of a character that was really brought to prominence thanks to the movies, which is interesting because Barricade was a name Hasbro had trademarked, and I think the first Barricade toy came out with the Energon line, if I'm not mistaken, from the Unicron trilogy. Yeah, that sounds right. So I don't know. That may have been a name that they had on the books for a while, like back even since the 80s, but they never really used it up until Energon. But I mean, but it was just a name. That's all it was. There was not an identifiable personality that could be given to Barricade until the movies. And even then, the movies didn't really give him much of a character besides the basic, oh, he's an evil police car. I mean, in terms of the base idea of what he is as a character, the gimmick of his character, I think that works. It's very recognizable, and so to get a G1 version of that, I think that's really cool. So, yeah, I mean, we do have that War for Cybertron show that's going to be coming on Netflix, I think, next year. That sounds about right. Sometime next year, I think. Yeah, and so, I don't know. Barricade may end up being a character in that, because that's been the one problem with Barricade, is that he's a really cool idea for a character, and then they've just never really given him much of a character. The best characterization of Barricade came from the DS Transformers Decepticons game from 2007 to promote the movie. And then because he's never really had much of a personality in the movies, and then he's really only ever appeared in the movies with the exception of like little cameos here and there and other stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. It'd be really cool to see like an official G1 sort of... And then that's the thing. Is Siege supposed to be the G1 timeline, or is it just a very much inspired G1 timeline? I don't know. Regardless, you get the idea of what I'm saying. So, yeah, the toy is really cool. I really like the toy. It makes me excited for what they might be able to do with the character in the future, because he has made that, the movie characteristics have now made the jump to other iterations of the character, which is really cool. So it'll be interesting to see what they might be able to do with this character in the future. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for this review. I recommend this toy very highly, and that will be it. So thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. Remember to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Those links are in the description below, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.